Tex always told me that if I ever really needed to know something, I should listen to Rosie. Well, there was a lot I wanted to know. What I didn't know was that it was a love story. My father was a cowboy. His father was a cowboy. And I grew up to be a cowboy. It was as if my father and I always came up against each other, going in the opposite direction. Like the two sides of a river, we couldn't close the distance between us without losing ourselves. My father loved my mother the only way he knew how. But he did love her. I wonder if she hadn't died when I was a baby, if she would have stayed with him. Us. Diane is leaving. My father gave Rosie to my mother. She called her her treasure. Every time I thought about my mother, I saw Rosie. Tex, my grandfather, we could all agree on him. He was world class. Never needed a belt buckle to prove it. And my father, bull rider. He was a big hero in the bull riding world. And Tex, after he stopped riding, he clowned to keep the cowboys safe. We all went on the rodeo circuit together. Those were the best times I can remember. Couldn't wait to be done with school and ride bulls myself. I didn't know that day running across Bardot's field that I would come face to face with everything I held sacred. The pasture turned into a river. The rain coming down so hard, I couldn't see to get across it. I just kept hearing Tex say, "Trust the animals. Trust the animals." When Tex got real sick, my father had to take over his clowning work. He didn't mind. My father. He was like that. I didn't realize till years later that it was the storm that taught me the most about my father. My father never told me to trust the animals.
Where's Billy?
He never told me much.
I was already home.
Hey, Margaret. It's Tex. Has that bus dropped your boy off yet? Has, huh? Okay, no, it's all right. Thanks.
But somehow my father knew. He always knew.
Tex!
I'd always wanted to tell my father that the day he saved me from the storm was the day I learned to trust the animals. I'm sorry now that I didn't learn that I could have trusted my father. Years after my mother died, my father married Darlene and didn't have to leave me with strangers anymore to get my schooling in religion. And she came to see that she wasn't ready to stay at home with me and the ghost of his lost wife for company. And that storm always stayed with me. I left when I got old enough and went on the circuit alone. I knew my father didn't like it, but he never told me. I was told my father would watch me when I rode the bulls, but we seldom spoke. I learned my father had taken ill, so I called Darlene and she told me he was in the hospital. I knew what that meant. Darlene had seen to the funeral arrangements, and there was a big turnout to honor and remember my father. I met Darlene's new family. They took to calling me Uncle Billy, which I liked a lot. I asked about Rosie. Darlene told me she passed the same day my father died. It was like a river had been dammed up inside of me. I broke down and cried. I was alone for the first time. And those eyes that looked right into you.